Check that out, made in Mexico. DEWALT has a new XR impact driver out. This is model number DCF845. It is a 3-speed model. It has 1,825 inch-pounds of torque, 0 to 3,400 RPM, 0 to 4,200 IPM. Now, this gets confusing. DEWALT has a lot of different impact drivers out, and in that case, this is going to be as powerful as most of the new ones, including the Atomic. The big difference between this new XR and the other ones out, including the 887, is going to be the RPM and IPM. This is going to be, per paper, the fastest impact driver that they make, although it shares the same torque specs across the board. Now, if we take a look at the new model compared to the DCF850, which is the Atomic, you can see there is quite a bit of size difference. It's interesting because they share a lot of the same qualities as far as the absolutely perfect slide switch on the bottom that goes between models 1 and 3. I'd love to hear your opinions on that. I love the old technology. I don't want buttons. I just want a little switch on the bottom that is going to be next to hard to destroy, isn't going to come apart. I love that. Let me know what you think in the comments. But it is interesting because it is small, but yet large. It is not big by any means, but if you compare it to the Atomic and you look at that, you go, wow, it's quite large. And it is not 2,000 inch-pounds like some of the other brands, but at the same point, it is small, especially narrow here, and it seems to work quite well. The DEWALT DCF845 shares the same style of tri-lighting that you would find on the Atomic model. They also have the same quick shank up front. It's simple, push in, and then if you push it out, it'll pop that hot bit out if you'd like it to. It has a great variable speed trigger, as almost all these DEWALTs do. Again, we went over the 3-speed slide switch on the bottom. Absolutely love it. Level 1 is kind of what I would call a 2-stage. We're going to go over that in a little bit. This guy is very comfortable in your hands. Forward and reverse is sitting right there. Lots of cool stuff that is inside this that has some technology built in, but yet in a way this is what I would call old school to a point where it just doesn't have the technology, the buttons, the auto modes. I love that. A tool's a tool, just give it to me and let my finger do the work as long as you have a good variable speed trigger, and this definitely does. So let's get after it and do some driving. This is made in Mexico, and when paired with the baby Powerstack, the 1.7 amp hour, it is very light, comfortable, it's fairly small, again, a little bit longer, but we're gonna go over mode 1. Now, this is kind of a dual mode to me. It might not be to everyone. It's very nice because if you want to use this as a screwdriver for electrical parts or anything like that, it would work very easily. It's very controllable to get things started, and then if we just floor this, you'll notice it's got no power. There was a pause there. So if we go in and just start from the beginning, watch for that pause. That's cool because if you can hold the trigger past that pause, it's great for woodworking, like I said, electrical, any of that stuff. You can kind of just get things going, get it started. And if you even hit that again and just want to take this in like a 1/16 of a turn at a time, you can. But if you want more power, you have to hold. Second stage kicks in, rocks it out. I think that's amazing. Level 2, again, very controllable, faster. There's no 2-step or 2-stage in level 2. It just rocks it out. Very quick, but still easy to control. You're not gonna just completely bury things unless you just stay in it. Now, if you wanted to, it's got all the power in the world to do so. I think that is pretty amazing. Now, again, we can just shoot that guy out of here. We're still in level 2, which, again, is pretty quick. Let's just take and drop this lag. Not too long ago, that would have been level 3 on many of the impact drivers out there. Here's level 3. That's very quick, and we have a nice small battery on here. That rocks it out. Not a huge fan of tool races, but here we go. It's the DCF850 Atomic with the 5 amp hour Powerstack. We're just gonna drive this quickly and you can see the speed. Now I'm gonna switch the same bit and the same battery over. That's not gonna take much out of the battery, but obviously this one's gonna have just a touch less voltage. Here we go, same bit, so very little difference. The only thing we could have difference here would be A, battery less voltage because of one drive, and B, the difference in wood. Let's see how this goes. My opinion, much faster. Just an opinion, you guys can time it out. It feels faster, it feels more comfortable, it feels a little bit better in your hand while you're driving. It gives me a little bit more control per se. If I'm putting something in, I feel like I have a little bit of distance between my first finger here and where everything starts. As if I'm here, it's on top of everything. So it's different, but let's just drive another one. I think this guy rocks it out. I do believe the RPM is a little bit different. You could put this on a dyno and figure things out complete, but the reality is I don't think in this case time is money. What do you feel gives you the better size for your use? Do you need to constantly get into really tight spots where you want to have the smaller tool, or are you happy with something that might last a little bit longer because it might have more room for heavier duty parts up here, a little more air to come through the back? I think there's a reason that DEWALT doesn't have everything in the tiniest of tiny packages. What do you think? All right, I'm going to give you an opinion, and I welcome all comments on this opinion below. DCF850, the Atomic. I love the stubby. I like using it. I like getting into tight places. I love how it feels. I love how it looks. It's awesome. But it's kind of like a new car. When you open the hood, everything is packed in here really tight. They needed to make it as small as possible, and what happens? Components get a little lighter duty. Things have, just a lot of stuff goes into it. So I'm not saying this is a bad tool, but do I think it's going to last as long as something that might be a little bit larger, a little bit more beefy? If you look at the aluminum housing that's around this, there's a lot more around this XR than the Atomic. So I feel in a way that there might be a little bit more quality components in here along with everything else. I could be completely wrong. That's just an opinion. If I had to pick the two, as far as what I was using on a daily basis, it would depend on what I was actually doing. But if I was doing a deck, I want something a little bit more of a nose out front. I don't really like that all the time my finger is right there. And not that it's a big deal. It works great if you're in tight places, but if you're slamming and jamming things around, I don't really need my finger that close to the front. Not that it's a big deal. It's just part of the design, right? That's how you get things smaller. I feel more comfortable. I can move around with this guy. I can use it over my head. I have just ways. Maybe it's because I'm old school. I don't know. Maybe this is because how all the impact drivers used to be for a long time until this new stubby craze came out. Either way, I think the speed of this, even off paper, is greater, and the specs on paper show that it should be. This should be faster than the 887, and if you did have a DCF840, then I would upgrade. I know a lot of people are going to be like, wow, well, first you're getting a bump in power, second you're getting a huge bump in RPM, and you're getting 3 speeds. If you like the 840, the 845 is definitely for you. If you have an 887, those things last forever, but at the same point, this is good until the new 887 comes out. I'll tell you, DEWALT does have some confusing things going on in their XR line. You know, you don't have like the top of the line Milwaukee Fuel, and then it gets replaced, and that's now the top of the line. You have two XRs out there right now, two different model numbers, two different sizes to a point. Which one's the best? That's going to be what's best for you in the job that you do. I can tell you the trigger on this is the same sort of as the Atomic. It's maybe just a touch more controllable, but that could be the motor on the inside. This thing is amazing as far as the variable speed trigger. Love that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Give us a like in this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, share this video around. We appreciate that. As always, thank you for your time. Have a great day.